Hi friend, I just wanted to take a minute to invite you to our Lash Biz Babes Experience 2026. This is a one-day all online event happening on May 2nd, and our theme for the year is going all in. We are shaking things up and doing it differently than anyone ever has before. This is going to be an all online event as usual, but it's going to be 100% a curated journey throughout your day as we guide you through the mindset, strategy, and passion needed to go all in on your business to make it your best year in business yet. All lash artists, estheticians, and beauty professionals are invited to join us. There will be guided sessions, interactive workshops, a panel discussion, and big giveaways happening throughout that whole day. And tickets are on sale now for only $199. Payment plans are available. Let's go all in on our businesses for 2026 together. All the details and the link for tickets are down in the show notes below. I would love to have you join us online in May. Welcome to Lash Biz Babes, the podcast for solo beauty business owners who want to build a full clientele and create a business and life that they truly love. My name is Erica. I'm your host. I'm a lash artist turned beauty business coach, lash educator, and social media manager for salons and beauty businesses. I'm so happy that you're here. Let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. Welcome to this week's episode of Lash Biz Babes. My name is Erica. I'm your host, and this week we're going to be talking about what to do when you feel like social media, quote unquote, isn't working for you. So I hear people say that in that exact same phrasing pretty often, where they think they're posting or where they feel like they're posting on social media, they're doing the things that they think should be helping them grow online, but they're not seeing the traction that they want, and they're not getting from social media what they're wanting to get out of it, and they feel like it isn't working for them, but they're really frustrated with it. They're burnt out on it. They don't know what to do, and they just feel like maybe this isn't for them, or it can't be something that's successful for you. So if you've ever felt that way, or you feel like you're not getting the results that you want from it, this is going to be a really good episode for you. So stick with me here. Before we jump into this, I just wanted to put out a reminder that I am going to be teaching a class on content strategy at Premier San Antonio in San Antonio, Texas on September 28th and 29th. So my class is at 4 p.m. on September 28th, that's Sunday. I'm really excited for this. I've been looking forward to this for a couple months since they let me know I was accepted for it to be able to teach at it. And I would love to see some familiar faces there. I would love to meet you there. So if you are coming to the show, please come and say hi. I would love to have you in my class. And I'm going to link all of the information for the show and to get your ticket in the show notes below. So that all being said, let's jump into today's episode. So if you're feeling like social media isn't working for you, I think this is one of those opportunities where you kind of have to sit down and audit things. That's what works for me, because I feel like I get so overwhelmed and I'm thinking about so many different things and what do I need to do more of and what do I need to change and this, that, and the other. And I think when you kind of get in that space, it's better to actually simplify and just look at the basics of things, kind of get a refresh on that. So let's go through what that looks like. The first thing that I want to think about is, what's my actual goal with social media? Because sometimes people feel like if their posts aren't getting a lot of views or likes or comments, or they don't have a lot of followers, that social media, quote unquote, isn't working for them. But in reality, is that your goal that you actually have? Now, if you're like trying to be an influencer or like Amazon storefront or things like that, that might be something that's important, right? To get the views and the likes and the comments and whatnot. But typically for a service provider like you, if you're wanting to get clients, that might not be the measure of success that you think it is. And that might be more of an ego thing talking, where you want the likes and the comments and the views and the follows because it makes you feel good, but that doesn't actually help you get towards your goals. So I think that's a really important reframe to think of very first, is what goal am I actually trying to achieve with my social media page? And are the actions that I'm taking helping me reach that specific goal? Or are we kind of spinning our wheels on things that don't matter as much, like the vanity metrics, as I like to refer to them as? I think that really helps to put into perspective your use of social media and if it is truly successful for you or not. and really being able to take that and look at it objectively, because I think that's important, where you kind of have to take your own, and this can be, you can do this for any part of your business, but we're specifically talking about it in the sense of social media. But being able to take off your little personal hat and put on your business owner hat and look at things analytically and objectively, where you're taking your own feelings out of it, not being hard on yourself, not saying mean things about yourself, not letting that little voice in your head be mean to you, but just looking at it and thinking, what's working to help me towards my goals? What do I need to change or shift or focus on? What can I do better with to help me reach my goals? It's just a matter of adjusting things, right? So once you're clear on that, I would really look at who's your target audience. And even if you're like, yeah, I already know that, Erica, like, no, go back and look at it again and maybe get a refresh in your mind on who that is, or redo it and maybe it's shifted a little. Maybe you can get more specific about it. I think it's just something good to revisit 1 or 2 times a year, just so that you are really clear on who this is that you're trying to attract or target with your content, with your business, who you're serving in your business. Because really having a clear understanding of that is such a foundational basis of everything that you do inside of your business. Whether it's the content you create, how you set up your social media pages, how you set up your website, the words you write on your website, the way that you book clients, the way that you have your client experience once they come in to see you, and the setup that you have and the aesthetics that you have, and just every single part of your business can be catered around the ideal clients or the target audience that you have for your business. So I think it's a really important thing to be very clear on. And I think the more specific that you get with this, the better. So that's something I would look at. What are my goals? Who's my target audience? And being very clear and getting a good refresh on those couple of things. And then I would go through and look at what I call these 3 key foundational pieces of your marketing strategy, right? So, what are you doing each day or each week, each month to contribute to these 3 different areas in your business? So, first off is audience growth. When it comes to social media, audience growth is a hugely important piece of your marketing. And I've talked about it in previous podcast episodes this year, gone in depth on what that looks like, with different actions you can take for that, steps you can take to grow your audience with local people or with your target audience. I've gone in depth on that on previous episodes. So if you haven't listened to those, definitely go back and check them out. When we're specifically talking about this, like when you're thinking about growing your audience, this is something that's like a needle moving activity to be able to get people to know about your business. Now, growing your audience and brand awareness isn't necessarily a piece where they like hear about your business or they start following you and they immediately book or buy from you, but they know that your business exists, and that's important, right? They're following you now, or they know who you are, they know what you do. So, what are you doing each day, each week, each month to help you grow your audience and get people aware that your business exists? This is a key factor. So, like, if you feel like, okay, I'm posting really good content, I have a booking website, like, I feel like I'm doing all the right things, or, maybe even have some local followers, but you're not getting the traction you want, I would focus your efforts in on audience growth. Get more people aware that your business exists and build more momentum. The times in my business, specifically in my lash business, the times where I felt like I grew the most and I had the most traction, whether it was with my lash business or coaching, with the podcast, with social media management clients, any aspect of my business where I feel like I had the most momentum and like quote unquote explosive growth, where like I feel like I was just in a rhythm and I was on a roll. It happened after like I got a lot of momentum with my audience growth. I got 50 new followers, or on TikTok, I got 300 new followers in a day, or I was in a Facebook group and responded to someone's post and I got 25 new followers from it, or something like that. I feel like those are the moments where I had the most momentum, where I really was able to grow, not just like my pages. Like, yes, I had momentum growing my pages, but that also caused a lot more momentum as far as being able to convert and make sales and book clients and, have people come to the online conference, or, whatever that looked like. So I think especially if you feel like your content is solid and you're good, and like it should be converting well, or it should be helping you grow your business, but it's not, then I would focus in on audience growth. So audience growth is something that you need to be doing even 5 minutes of a day. And when I say a day, I'm not including weekends on that. You don't have to be doing this every single day, but I'd say at least like 5 times a week, right? 5 days out of the week. What are you doing to grow your audience, get in front of your target audience, get in front of local people, whoever that is? So whether if you want to book clients for lash services or hair services, nails, spray tans, aesthetics, whatever beauty services, then you need to be growing your audience with local people. So what are you doing to get in front of local people that day? Even if it's just one little thing, it's these little baby steps each and every day, and the consistency of it that compounds on itself and helps you grow your business. So what are you doing every day to grow your audience? If you're wanting to book students, then okay, estheticians or cosmetologists or lash artists or whatever in your area, how are you getting in front of them every day? What are you doing to grow your audience with them today? Even if it's a small thing, like I said, or even if it's a big thing, like you're going to an event and connecting with them, what are you doing to get in front of your specific audience every day? At least 5 times a week. I feel like it's more the consistency of it versus the quantity of it. You don't have to do a lot of it every single day, but you do need to be doing something consistently for it each day. But, don't get burnt out on it. I think it's something where it's like you pick what's sustainable for you, what you can reasonably keep up with, and you do that. But that being set aside, little tangent there, but audience growth, important piece. That's piece number 1. Piece number 2 is nurturing. How are you letting them know that you are the one to go to for these services? So I'm going to give you an example of this. If someone is looking for a lash artist in your area and they find you, right? They find your page and they see that you're a lash artist and you do lash extensions. And then you see they find someone else, maybe down the road from you or in your town, who also does lash extensions, right? So how are they going to pick which one to book with? Maybe they're really trying to decide between the two, right? There's probably some factors like availability or cost or things like that would come into play with this, yes. But if you want to book people who are like-minded to you, you want to book people who are willing to pay your prices, no questions asked, you want to book people who value you for more than just your prices, then you need to let them know why you're the one for them. So this comes into your brand messaging, which I have multiple episodes on this year. You can go back and listen to those if you want to go more in depth on brand messaging. But you need to be bringing this in and anchoring this in something with your brand messaging to nurture them as a client every single day and let them know why you, right? What do you do that's going to make it easy, clean, comfortable, like quality, good experience for them? And how are you conveying that in your content, on your website, in Facebook group posts, in your marketing, anything that you do? How are you nurturing people every day to become a client of yours? How are you putting parts of your brand messaging, parts of what you want to be known for, parts of what you do really well, those highlight points, how are you pulling that into your marketing every day? Because if you're not doing these things, then they're going to say, okay, I found her, they found you that does lashes. They found someone else who does lashes. If you're not putting those nurturing pieces out and like those brand messaging pieces out, they're going to decide based on price who they're going to go to, right? And maybe someone down the road is cheaper than you and they're going to go to them because they don't know all the great things that you do. They see your funny reels, they see your before and afters, but okay, they can get a before and after like that anywhere, honestly. Maybe not as good of lashes, but they don't always see the technical side of things. A lot of clients, especially if they're new to lashes, they don't know the difference between a good and a bad lash artist or good and a bad esthetician or hairstylist or whatever. Sometimes they can see certain things if it's blatantly obvious, but there's a lot of they only have a base knowledge of it, right? They just see that they can do eyelash extensions. So if they don't know why to come to you over somebody else and you're not nurturing that every day, 5 days at least out of the week, right? You don't have to do it every single day of the week, but that 5 days out of it, then they're not going to know why to pick you, right? And you're not getting that message out into the world. Now, I'm not saying you have to post like 5 days a week or whatever, but what are you doing that day? Even if it's just like a conversation with someone in person, or maybe you go update your website copy, or you give out a business card or whatever that looks like you're anchoring in some sort of brand messaging each day, something to let them know why you're the one to book with. Okay. So do something like that each day. Third thing, make that booking process super easy with you. And this isn't necessarily something that you can do every single day, like yes and no. But I think this is something you can have a system in place where you automate it with the online booking. But if you haven't looked at your booking website in a while, like you might need to go give it another fresh set of eyes and refresh some things on it. Have someone who doesn't know anything about your services go through your booking website and let you know like what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, what's not understandable to them, where are they getting stuck at. I'll give you an example of this. I was once trying to find a nail person to book with. And I think my nail girl at the time had gone on maternity leave, and I was trying to find a new one to go with. And I was looking through booking sites and trying to figure out who to book with and who would be the best and availability and all those things. But a lot of these booking sites were like, oh, phase one, phase two, phase three of, and I still am like, that I don't even know what those things mean. But like that's what their booking site said. And it was like, okay, you can book phase one, right? But there wasn't a good description of what that was. So like I had no idea which phase to book. And I immediately just exited out and didn't book with them because I did not understand it as someone who's not familiar with nail lingo or like with hair stuff. Like I don't understand like what a teasy light is. So when I see that on someone's booking website, I'm like, I have no idea. I know the end look of what I want my hair to look like, or I know the end look of what I want my nails to look like, or my lashes to look like. I don't necessarily know what all these technical terms are, right? And your potential clients are the same way, where they don't always understand our lingo of things. So when we put things like angel lashes or fairy lashes or volume or mega volume, or if you have like the Kim K sets or the glam set or just things like that, like they might not know what end look that's actually going to get them. So if you're going to give it like specific niche names like that, you have to write a description that makes sense to them so that they know, is this the right service for me to book, right? Is this the right one for me? Whether is this going to get me the end look that I want? So I always liked to do like, here's what this service is, here's what the end look is, here's what would make you not a good candidate for this specific look. Like for classic extensions, if you have like thin, sparse natural lashes, classic extensions are probably not the best choice for you, right? So you want to make sure that your booking process is as easy to use and as understandable as humanly possible. Using terms in ways that are understandable to someone who knows nothing about your services. They're like entry level, like lash extensions for dummies. They're not dummies, but like we have to like make it as understandable and base level as possible. And the easier and more understandable it is to book with you, the better. So this can also play into like having an easy booking process. Like, do your social media pages have all of the information that they're going to be looking for about you on them? Is that easily found on those pages? Is it easy for them to see examples of the different lash sets, right? Because if you have like fairy lashes or angel lashes or glam sets, classic lashes, mega lashes, or whatever, if you have all those on your booking website, you could also have those as like Instagram highlight bubbles so that they can see examples of what those actually look like, right? Or you could also have a pinned post that has an example of the different styles that you offer. So there's different ways to do this, but the point is that making it easy and making it understandable for someone who knows nothing about the services that you offer. And I'm going to give you one more example of why this is also important too, to like have the good, easy, and understandable descriptions on your booking website. Because there was one time I had booked a massage with someone who was totally great and she did a wonderful job and I loved her. But when I booked it, I didn't know, like, I had never really been to get massages very often before and I didn't know like the difference in different ones. And Anyway, I just kind of assumed that like the massage would always just be like the back massage or whatever, right? So I had booked, I think it was like a 40-minute one, thinking that the 40-minute one was because that was like the amount of time I had that I could go, right? It was like, okay, I could go at this time, but I only have this much time, so I'm gonna do the 40-minute one because that would fit in that time slot. Anyway, I booked the 40-minute one because that's what worked for me time-wise, but there was no description on the booking website that said what it was included or not. It just literally said 40-minute massage or whatever. So when I came in, come to find out, that was a completely different massage than what I thought it would be. It wasn't a back massage like at all. It was head and shoulders and hands and feet or something like that, which was still a really great service, but it wasn't what I had gone in wanting. And it wasn't what I thought it was. You had to book like the 60 or the 90-minute ones, but there was no descriptions on the website to let you know the difference between those. And so it led to, I mean, I still came back to her and rebooked with her with the correct one later on, but like it can still lead to some disappointment or like unmet expectations with your clients if they're coming in expecting one thing and getting something else. So your booking site and your social media pages and that booking process that you have is all a part of like setting the correct expectations with your clients that they know what they're coming into, right? And they're going to get the end result that they want. So it was a little bit of a tangent, but I hope it was helpful. But that's your third step of the marketing process or the marketing strategy is having a really easy booking process. Now, when you put these three things together, you're growing your audience, you're doing something to nurture them, you have a really easy booking process, you can kind of rinse and repeat that again and again and again to keep booking clients. And that's going to help make you feel like social media is working for you. So you need to be focusing on these needle moving activities. Don't let all the noise and the imposter syndrome and the comparison and all of that drown you out or like distract you from what truly matters of what's going to help you grow online. I hope that this is helpful for you to just figure out like, okay, I'm feeling stuck. This is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like it's not working. Get clear on what are your actual goals with your social media pages. Who are you actually trying to market to? How are you growing your pages with them or reaching them or getting in front of them every day? How are you nurturing them? What's your content strategy like? And how are you making it really easy for them to book with you? So I promise you, if you focus on those things and do that consistently each and every day, each and every week, it's going to work, first off. And secondly, it's going to make it a lot more sustainable for you. And you're not going to feel like you're just spinning your wheels on things that don't really matter, that won't help you get to your specific goals. Now, I know with this, there can be some different fears that come up, fear of, being visible and getting seen and being on camera and showing yourself or sharing pieces of your life or your business, or you have fear of judgment from others or fear of being salesy or sounding salesy, or maybe you're overthinking all of your content or you're overcomplicating things. You're not keeping it simple. And I think a lot of that kind of comes from, well, there can be a lot of reasons for this. I'm not going to get into all of them, but I think at the core of it, it's because you're not clear on what the other things we were talking about today are. You're not clear on what your goals are. You're not clear on who you're trying to market to. You're not clear on how you're growing your audience. You're not clear on how you're nurturing them. You're not clear on how, booking them easily. So I feel like when you are clear on those things, you're a lot more confident in showing up for yourself because you know what you're doing and that it's going to work. You're not posting and praying, you're not winging it. You're coming into it more prepared and more confident. I feel like that helps with these things, especially when you are clear on your goals. Because if you are clear on your goals, it's like, okay, well, what's more important? My goals in reaching them and growing my business and helping my family and helping my clients and being financially free and having that time flexibility and all these great things that can come, or is, the judgment from others more important, right? No, we know which one is more important. So it's like when you're clear on what those goals are and how you're going to achieve them, you're going to go into it so much more confident. And even if you have some of these fears or limiting beliefs pop up, you're going to be able to recognize them and reframe them and be able to work through those things to still show up for your business. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you are in that phase of feeling stuck, just know you're not alone. There's a lot of people that I've been talking to recently who are feeling this way. But there are things you can do about that. Get clear on these things that we've talked about today and just focus on that little thing, doing those little things each day consistently. And I promise you it's going to work. I remember when I was growing my lash business and I had moved and I didn't know anyone in the new area and was like trying to build my clientele. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was laying in bed at midnight thinking, what more could I possibly be doing to get in front of local people, to book more clients, to like get more local people following me, to, do these 3 steps that I knew I needed to do. And it was so funny to me as I'm thinking, what more and more and more and more and more, what more can I do? And then the next morning, I woke up to a new booking request. And it was just like, okay, it's not necessarily that I need to do more because what I'm doing is working. I just need to stick with it. I just need to stay consistent and keep doing what I'm doing. And so I think that's an important thing too, of like, don't overcomplicate it. Don't feel like you have to do more and post more and go more crazy with your content or whatever it is. Just stay consistent with these things, with growing your audience, with nurturing them, with having the easy booking process. Stay consistent with those 3 things, and I promise you it's going to move some needles in your business and it's going to help you be able to grow and feel like social media is a place that you want to show up because you do grow your business on there and it does work for you. So I hope this is helpful for you. If you have questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. Would love to be friends with you on there. I hope you have a great week. Make sure you're subscribed to the show so that you can be notified every Tuesday when we have new episodes coming out. And I will talk with you again next week.